Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from AlexMercedCoder.dev, and in this video what I wanted to do is just kind of, showing more just how to set up a TypeScript project, do a TypeScript project using ExpressJS. So just basically start from scratch, go through the TypeScript setup, go through the Express setup, and show you that, again, if you're using TypeScript, things don't change too much. Again, it's never without its wrinkles, but it's not too difficult. Okay, so first I'm just going to set up TypeScript. Okay, so basically, again, I'm going to run through those steps. So essentially what I'm going to do is just create a new npm project, npm init-y, and then once we do that, I'm going to then install TypeScript. So npm install -- save as a dev dependency, and that's TypeScript. So we save that. Then I am going to go into the package.json and create a bunch of scripts. Okay, and that's going to include init, which is just going to be basically tsc -- init to create our tsconfig. It's going to be compile, so we can compile our code. So that's just be tsc, and eventually we'll have a start command, which will be node dist dot, we'll just say node dist / server.js, and then we're going to have a dev mode. Okay, dev let me just think what I want to do here. Oh, I gotta put a comma over here, that's what I'm missing. Dev, so essentially what I would want to do anytime we do dev, not only do I want it to make sure that it restarts the server anytime the JavaScript file changes, but I want to make sure as you change the TypeScript file that it recompiles. So essentially what it would be is, essentially what you'd want to do is first do, I think there's a TypeScript watch command if I remember right. So let's do a quick Googles. It's like a TSC watch. Yeah. Configuring watch. How do they do it? So here we go. The watch implementation of the compiler relies on fs.watch file. So I just want to see what is the actual command we pass. CLI target declaration stereo watch sc watch. There we go. Watch input files. Okay, perfect. Okay. So what we would want to do is do tsc -- watch and node -- watch dist server.js. Okay, so essentially what will happen is that anytime you update the TypeScript code, TypeScript will recompile, and then once it recompiles, then Node will then restart the server. Okay, so that way you have that sort of developer experience. Okay, so you'll have two watchers kind of going on and constantly updating things. Okay, and then that should do it, because again, we're going to set it up that we compile to this. Okay, cool. So now that we got our scripts ready to go, first I can do my initialization. So npm run init. So I'm running that init script. See, that created our tsconfig.json, but again, when it creates, has all these comments, which are annoying. So what I usually do is I'm going to rename that tsconfig.text, just for reference, and then I'll just write my own tsconfig, and then we'll create our own tsconfig.json. Okay, and tsconfig. I don't know. We make an object, and then inside there should be compiler options. Okay, and I forget. And then here we're gonna put like, what is this? Just like entry, a thing, or input. Yeah, includes to include directories. What I want to do is just basically start with an initial file. Okay, so let's see here, compiler options. Okay, and then we're gonna want like module, Okay, and we're going to use CommonJS. Okay, target. We're going to use ES 2020. Okay, and what is it? Output? Yeah, out directory. It's going to be dist. So we're going to output to the distribution folder. And put where the entry here. Okay, I'll just Google how if I want to specify a specific entry file. tsconfig entry file. Entry file is, I mean, I could do it again. I could do it with the include, but I want to see if there's a and okay files. Okay, so that's how we do that. Okay. Okay, and you can also do it with include and exclude. That's what you do with the directories. Okay, I mean, honestly, probably the easiest thing to do is just do the include. Okay, so we'll just do the include. And then just put the source slash, yeah. So that way anything in the source directory gets compiled. And gets outputted to and then again, strict. We'll make that true. Okay. Oh, we need to come over here. Okay, good. And I think that's a good start for now. Okay. Now next what we're going to do is we want to import or install Express. So npm install Express. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to create my source directory. So I want to create my source directory. Source. And in there I'm going to create my server.js. So new file, server.js. And again here I'm going to be using ES module syntax because I'm writing in TypeScript. Okay, and this actually should be server.ts. Rename server.ts. Okay, and just something to kind of be aware of is just that whenever you're looking at libraries on the npmjs.com, you'll know if it has TypeScript bindings. Like if I go to Express, okay, so you see this little DT here? Okay, so that means there are TypeScript bindings. Okay, so, but again, if I want them, I have to install them. So again, when it says DT, that means they're not packaged with the package. So I'll have to separately install, like, see that library right there, at types/express. I'm going to want to install that. Now let's take a look at my library that I created, CodB. Okay, when you take a look at that one, you see this one has like a full TypeScript, which means they're built-in TypeScript annotations, which means I don't have to install something extra. Okay, so just keep in mind, like, you want to look at that because you want those TypeScript declarations because they're going to allow TypeScript to actually help you write your code. Okay, so if they're built in, that's ideal. If they're not built in, then you want to make sure you download the extra library. Okay, so you'll watch me as I do it here. Okay, so first I'm going to install Express, which I think I already did. But now I have to install the type declarations. So again, if I just highlight over here, I can see what the library is. At type/express. At type/express. So it would be npm install. This is a dev dependency. Again, all your TypeScript stuff is a dev dependency. None of it's used to run your code when it's deployed. Save dev at type/express. Cool. Okay, now we can do like import express from express. Okay. Why don't you like that? Okay. Okay, so it wants us to use, we have to turn on that flag. So default so can only be default imported using, I guess it just wants us to use CommonJS then. So I will just use CommonJS because that makes sense because I did say CommonJS in our module. So then I'll just do this the way I would normally do this. Const express equals require express. Okay. Okay, and then we create our application. Okay, so const app equals express. Okay, and again, right now, it shouldn't feel any different than when you're writing normal JavaScript. Again, the only difference is that if I really wanted to, I could do some further annotation here. I could just be like, application, and see, like, I could type it like, hey, it's an app of type application, and do something like that. Okay, if I really want to. Again, when you're using the type declarations of a third-party library, it's generally going to kind of automatically know. So it's more for it to help you than it is for you to go explicitly type everything. So a lot of times you won't even notice you're doing anything differently. So const app. Now I can start writing like routes or routes. So I can be like app dot get, and then again now I can get better details when I like hover over this and it tells me like what does the get method do. Okay, rec res. Okay, parameter rec implicitly has any type. So again, here's where you do have the type. So okay, so it doesn't want us to type this function. So then we have to do is like type this as like request, because we know it's a request object. So we just need to find the request that's from Express. So you see here, there's a request type from Express, and again, types are generally uppercase, so you can kind of tell. Okay, so there's a request, and then this is the response. So we look for the response from Express. Good. Okay, and then that's all fun and good. Okay. And now I can, so now when I do like rec dot, it can give me all this kind of information. Okay, because it knows what that rec is supposed to be. Okay, because it's typed. And that's kind of the nice thing. So I can see exactly what's like rec.body, rec.query, rec.headers, rec.url. All that stuff's going to be nice in here and obvious and good to go. Okay, so rec dot. So now we can just do res dot, and then if I do res dot, I can see all the stuff that's inside of response. Okay, and this is kind of where TypeScript helps, because there's all TypeScript helps the developer out because those bindings allow you to be much easier like look up and know exactly what you're working with, because since VS Code knows that res is the response object, it can give you more details about what's inside the response object. Okay, this is those TypeScript bindings at work. Okay, well, I'm going to say hey res.json. Okay, now if I pass like the number 1 here, okay, whatever. Let's see here. Let me just actually see what the description of this function is. Property, response, any. No, oh no. So basically response, any string, property, yeah. Okay, so basically it can take anything as a body. So you can see here it's typed as any. So that's not super useful, but yeah. So basically it'll let you just pass anything. So we'll just pass like message. Hello. Okay. And then I can be like app.listen. Okay, app.listen. We'll say listen on port 4000. Pass it a callback. Okay, and again, I can hover over app.listen because of the TypeScript bindings. I should get a pretty more detail. Well, not much detail. As for what it is, so the TypeScript bindings aren't. I probably should type this as an application object. So application. That's probably what's that? Application. Okay. No overload matches overload error argument of type rec request. Okay, so I think what it wants me to do here is like now it knows that this needs to be a request handler. So I need to do something like this, like as request handler. Okay, so see here's another type here, request handler. There we go. Okay. Let me write this a little bit differently. Function. Then I think I can, if I remember right, I can type a function like here and just be like request handler. Okay. Okay. Let me try to take a different approach. Const route 1 controller, which should be a request handler. Okay. Which should be, again, a function that takes in rec, which is a request object, and res, which is a response object. Okay, and then we do like res.json. So far it looks happy. And then res.json would then return message hello world. Okay. Oh, now I'm realizing that I forgot to pass this argument. Okay. And then we can pass controller. Okay, you can see now it's all happy. Okay, it knows basically now that this has been typed, it knows what this should be doing. So now it's asking for that function to be typed, and so forth and so forth. So you see, this is where like TypeScript, like you start playing with the types. But again, now everything, you know that everything matches. Okay. I'm just trying to think how I would type an inline arrow function. So let's look that up because that'd be annoying to have to predefine every function. How to type an inline arrow function. Let's see, I'm sure there's an example. Well, that's just how to do arrow functions. TypeScript arrow functions. Here we go. Type display new employee. What if I do this? If I do that and I pass this over here, would it still complain? No. Okay, that was the issue before. The issue before is I was just missing this first argument. Okay, so I really don't need this. Okay, so but again, for the most part, it's looking like your normal Express code. Okay, and then again, I can be like here console.log listening on port 4000. I hit save. Okay, and then I can try running it. So I can do npm run dev, which again will run the compilation first in watch mode. Okay. Ah, I see a problem with this setup. Okay, so the problem is that running the compilation in TypeScript with the watch in TypeScript, going back to my package.json, this already takes up the terminal. So what I need to do is make this two scripts and have two terminals. So we'll call this like tsdev. Then I'm going to cut this out of here. And then make this dev. Okay. So then what I'm going to do here is in this terminal, I'll do node, or I'll do npm run tsdev. So that way it runs the TypeScript dev server. Then I'm going to open up another terminal and do npm run dev to run the JavaScript dev server, which is working because again, once it compiles, so you created this dist server with my server.js. Okay, wonderful. Okay, and wonderful. I should be able to go to localhost 4000. Oh, not localhost 3000, localhost 4000. And it works. Okay, so basically we have it all up and working. Again, now if I want to make a change, so if I go over here and I add another route, so if I go like app.get /cheese slash rec request res response. Okay, and then I go arrow res dot send cheese. Okay, so it's running. It recompiled. So I should see here that like it recompiled. Good. And then here it's running again because this has been restarting every time the files have changed, which happens after each compilation. Okay, and then now if I go to slash cheese, huzzah, it works. Okay, so as simple as that. Again, couple little extra steps because it's TypeScript, but the idea is you get type safety, and you get all the extra suggestions. Again, I'm gonna get a little bit more detail when I do like, when I go like app dot, because see now I get a lot more information because it recognizes that it's an application object. So I get a lot more suggestions and help from my IDE. It's gonna be more better at telling me when there's a problem, and that's the beauty of TypeScript. Okay, you're gonna just get a little bit more help from your IDE because those bindings help. Okay, but with that, I will leave it at that. So just so that way now you know how to set up how to set up an Express project in TypeScript. Again, not too hard. See you all later. Have a great one.